Hi, I'm Vita, and welcome to my channel with the exact same name, on which I'm sharing the things related to HIV. I speak about the relationship, psychology, and also legalization in Argentina. So if you're interested, please follow up, and we're going to start in a moment. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me a like for this video, in which I'm going to share with you some topic which bothered me recently, like for the last month, and it's related to complaint which I decided to file against the person who supposedly infected me with HIV, and I shared this story in my first video, how I got HIV. So yes, I had to speak with the lawyers in Argentina, with the psychologists in my intervision group, and I'm going to share with you my thoughts, uh, basically about this topic and why I decided to do so. All right, let's get straight to the point. And if you watched my video in which I shared how I got infected, you already know that I had an unprotected sex with a guy, and later on, I also figured out that he had like an intention to have an unprotected sex with the other person, and already knowing that I'm HIV positive, because when I figured out that I have this diagnosis, I shared with him, and yes, he replied to me that maybe he's going to take care of it at some moment. So basically, until nowadays, I have no idea what's his HIV status. I can just suppose that I got infected from that person based on his behavior, on his actions, and specifically that he uh, offered an unprotected sex to another person, mm, by having a knowledge that maybe he is also positive. And yes, he didn't know for sure, maybe by that point, but still, it's a risk and it's dangerous. At least this is how I see the situation. Um, and I guess that also this is irresponsible. This is the main point why I decided now to make a complaint, but it's pretty complicated from like psychological point of view, from legal point of view in Argentina, because speaking about the law, in Argentina, people who have HIV status, they're positive, they don't have an obligation to disclose the information about their status to other people, to prevent, discrimination, stigma, and so on. And while I agree that, I mean, you don't have to do so to prevent such things, uh, I kind of disagree in case of when you are HIV positive and you're not taking any medicine, antiretroviral therapy, and you know that you are detectable, that you can transmit the virus, you still go and you don't share your status with anyone, but you can offer to have an unprotected sex and basically infect the other person. And for me, it's already falls like under criminal intention. I know that people have like completely different point of view on the situation, and in my case, for example, the first thing which people ask me, like, okay, you got infected a year ago already, and why you decided to make this complaint now? It doesn't make sense, and I mean, you can leave it in the past. Well, yes, it's true, like I can let it go completely, but I mean, I know that this is not the only person who acts like this, and basically, I have, I would say some power to prevent other infections and transmission of the virus. And this is exactly what I want to do, because I suspect that not every single person can deal with this diagnosis. I mean, I wouldn't say that I deal with that like easily. Yes, I have the knowledge, and yes, I have my residence in Argentina now, and I kind of look at it from the point that I have some benefits out of this diagnosis, but this is not a benefit. It's actually a disease with which I have to live until the rest of my life. This is nothing good about it. And when I know that there is some like small possibility to take an action and maybe prevent the future transmission of the virus in the legal way as well, if it's possible, I think it's better to do so than not to do. As for the legal possibility to make such complaint, As I mentioned before, all the STEs, they fall under protection of confidentiality by Argentinian law. And if you have, uh, in our case, we're speaking about HIV. If you have HIV, it doesn't matter if you are positive and detectable, if you're positive and undetectable, you are not obligated to share this diagnosis with anyone. And while I agree with this law, in general, like to protect confidentiality, there is some specific thing which bothers me because, for example, we have my case and the situation in which the person decided to be irresponsible about his own health, but at the same time, the person decided to put in danger intentionally, and I would I would say that this is a real criminal intention for me. I mean, you can be disagree with this, you can be agree with this. I would be really glad to discuss it in the comments because I mean it's really important to see like different points of view on the situation. And the person decided to be responsible and put in danger basically the other person. Yes, we remember that each person can protect their own health using condoms, for example, or using PrEP or PEP and everything. And I also mentioned it before in my other videos. But despite the fact that you can protect yourself, I think it's important that if you know for sure that you're HIV positive and you are detectable, or you suppose that you're HIV positive and detectable, and you just need to go to get tested to see if it's true or not. I would say that in this case, it would be better if you have to disclose this information to your potential partner, or at least not to offer to have an unprotected sex, because you basically put in danger the other person who maybe can deal with this diagnosis, because you never know how the other person is going to react when they know that they are HIV positive. For example, when I spoke about this with the psychologists in my intervention group, because I mean, I had a lot of inner pressure because I didn't know if it's right to do so or it's not, because it involves other people. Because basically, yes, I'm infected, but I can't prove that that person specifically infected me. And yes, the medicine also can't prove it, and I know about it. And I need to ask the other person to be a witness in this case and share this information. You know, it's like mm, it it's yeah, it's basically really complicated and makes you think a lot because I'm also an immigrant in Argentina, and making a complaint against the other Argentinian. I mean, uh, yes, I can do so, but it's still kind of, I don't know, risky maybe. I mean, psychologically, it takes a lot of energy. And in my intervention group, people shared that, I mean, it doesn't matter what that person thought about, basically, when he decided to act like this. Because, I mean, we can try to understand him or not. And yes, the main point here is that, I mean, when you know that you're HIV positive, you figure out your diagnosis. Some of the psychologists told me that they would stop maybe having sex at all for a long period of time because, I mean, uh, you feel like you've been violated because here is the thing also about consent, because I mean, when someone offers you unprotected sex, I mean, you can say no, or I mean, you can say yes, and you give the consent, but you give consent to have sex. You don't give a consent to get infected. And I think this is the main difference because, I mean, you just want to have your pleasure, and yes, you can. I mean, it's your responsibility to take care about your health, but at the same time, I think that the other part of responsibility lies like in the field of the other person to share with you some crucial information about his health status, especially when that person supposes or knows for sure that they can transmit you something. And as for the sexual part, for example, I know for now enough gay guys who had to change their sexual life after they figured out about the diagnosis, because I mean, uh, it's not the same as it is before you got diagnosed, especially, I mean, the first, I would say, months, because you start having this fear that maybe you can infect someone. You start thinking, do you need to share this information or not? And I mean, even according to the law, I was speaking about Argentina. It's important. You don't need to share it, but you're still thinking about it because, you have this inner guilt because I wanted to share this information, or maybe it's right to do so. You have a lot of inner conflicts and a lot of feelings of guilt, shame, and so on. And basically, it affects your sexual life. You need to uh, get used to it in a different way. And yes, someone can't come back to it, like, right away. And while we're speaking that, yes, HIV is treatable, like it's not the end of the world, you can get the therapy and your life is going to be okay, and it's really true. I think we don't have to forget about these feelings which people have after they figure out about the diagnosis, how it affects their life, what they have to go through. And especially, I mean, in the situations when they could prevent it and just live their happy life without the diagnosis. And my main point of this video, because I understand that it's pretty long enough already, so if you have a possibility to prevent the transmission of STEs, and one of these possibilities is a legal one, it's better to use it. I understand that, yes, it can take time, but it doesn't have to prevent you from an action when you feel that this is right, and your principles, your inner principles tell you that you can do something in this situation and it's going to be better. Yes, it can be pretty much tough emotionally, also legally, especially when there is no like clear legal mechanism, such in Argentina. And for example, now I need to figure out how to do such complaint, because there is some things in the law which I can use, and as a lawyer I also understand that I can do so. I'm going to give it a try and see what's going to happen, and also share it here so you can follow up my progress. And imagine you are an immigrant, you're in another country, you had such bad experience, and you want to start this process. I mean, it's just mind blowing. Uh, and I think that no one can tell you that this is not right to do so. Uh, if you feel that this is right, and also you do it not just for yourself, because I mean, in my case, I'm already HIV positive, and I can't do anything about it except taking the treatment. But if I know that there is a small chance to prevent the transmission, why not to try to do so? And I want to tell you that don't be afraid if you are in another country and you have such legal mechanism to make it, because you help to other people as well who at some moment maybe just have depression or figure out about their diagnosis pretty late when it's already 8. And I mean some people just end up being alcoholics and eventually finish their life even earlier than it could be. There are different cases, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. And I think we don't have to forget that this is still a disease. It's not, uh, if it's treatable now, it doesn't mean that we have to take it easily. All right, let's stop here. And I want to thank you for watching this video if you watched it till the end. Please let me know in the comments what you think, basically about this situation, about this complaint. What would you do maybe in this situation? Just share with me, because I really want to know, since it's like a mix of everything about law, psychology, ethics, morality, and I want to know what people think about this. And please take care about your health and do everything to prevent the transmission of the HIV.